Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us. Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing a memorable 2021 release of 140 pieces in platinum. From Grand Seiko, this is the High Beat Tree Ring, or the High Beat SLGH007. And I say tree ring because that is the inspiration for the dial. Important to note, this is not the night birch, even though the idea and the aesthetic are very similar. The night birch is not precious metal, it does not feature this dial design, and it is not as rare and exquisite as this massive platinum limited edition. So this is really something that is incredibly bespoke, short-lived, very cool, and representative of almost everything Grand Seiko does right. So if you want to see the night birch, that's the SLGH017. That can be seen elsewhere on this channel. This is the tree ring. So in platinum, 40 millimeters, very heavy. 40 millimeters is the diameter. It's 12.5 thick, and then 46.6 from lug tip to lug tip, with a spacing between the lugs of 22 millimeters. The watch feels good and it looks good. You can see that the watch has a matching high-grade large, and I mean very large, symmetrical rectangular scale alligator leather strap. Real money was spent here. You can see how thick the leather is. It's almost like a big pilot's watch, and it's got a sheer cut side lacquered for refinement, semi-gloss finish, a monotone black stitch on the bottom. You can see brand new Grand Seiko strap. It's calfskin on the bottom, and it has that almost uncanny softness that you expect on the bottom of a Grand Seiko strap that is not broken in or worn, and yet it feels as buttery and smooth as a catcher's mitt that's caught 1,600 innings. So this is a really nice execution, and it's factory fresh. Taking a quick look at the buckle is also in platinum, twin trigger release, single fold, and you have to press both triggers for this to open, so it cannot pop open inadvertently. We have Grand Seiko's famous Zaratsu tin plate polish on the polished elements of this case. That's a hand polishing technique on a Zalitz machine that takes about 3 years to master, and it's been applied to the polished facets of this rather complicated case, which has both creases and curves, and then you can see sort of a polyhedron, multifaceted end to the lugs. Grand Seiko probably one of the few companies still making watches in platinum and expecting you to use a strap tool to swap straps. They know that that's something their fans like to do, so they have retained strap holes here to make that easier. The crown here is not a screw down, but the watch is 100 meters water resistant. Grand Seiko logo on the crown. You can see that the lugs and the case top satin and polish. We have a little bit of a satin ring around the crystal, which is dramatically boxed and cambered. So you have polish and then satin on the bezel. Making our way to the dial. Grand Seiko dials have perhaps the best quality in the mainstream luxury class. I often compare them to Rolex. They get to the same place by different means. Rolex via industrial perfection, and Grand Seiko by including a lot of hand craftsmanship in the making of the dial. Not only is this a multi-step process to create this dial base, but all of the little pieces, the logo, the hands, the faceted aperture frame for the date and the indices. These are all cut on tiny micrometric diamond-tipped milling tools by people who pretty much do this all day long as their full-time gig. They're then placed by hand and caulked by hand. Take a look at those hands at center. See the razor-like facets on their side? Again, all of this is artisanal excellence. Now, we have a watch that features the latest post-2020 Grand Seiko 9S family of automatic movements. So this is the 9SA5 with a 80-hour power reserve, automatic winding, twin barrels, and you can see that it's beaten at 36,000 vibrations per hour, which is why at first glance you might confuse this for a spring drive, but it's so smooth because if a normal watch is anywhere between 2.5 and 4 hertz, this is 5 hertz like a Zenith El Primero. We do have some other setting modes here. There is a hacking seconds function, and there is a quick set mode for the date, and you can see that the date disc is black, which is great because a lot of brands don't get this right. The date disc should always be the color of the dial. And just to be clear, there is no loom on this dial because there's a little chaptering outboard for reading the seconds and the minutes precisely. Turn it all over, you can see that gorgeous movement. It's been made larger than in the past, and it is also more architecturally appealing, and is also finished more elaborately. So let's talk about all of that. First of all, a bigger movement. Automatic winding. It has twin barrels. You can see them right there. 6-position adjustment, one more than the chronometer and high horology standard over in Switzerland. 47 joules, and the watch is also adjusted to temperature and isochronism. You can see that the balance bridge is now dual anchored, so it's a double-sided balance bridge with a free-sprung balance for better shock tolerance and also more precise setting. It moves from a flat hairspring on the previous generation to an overcoil that allows isochronous operation in every physical position, so that's a big part of the appeal here. Also, it uses a double impulse escapement that, and I'm sorry Omega, but I do compare it most directly to the Omega coaxial, where you have indirect and direct impulsing of the balance by the impulsing surfaces in the escapement. But the point is to reduce the friction by eliminating the sliding type friction of a Swiss lever. And so that's what's being achieved with this new dual impulse escapement. In terms of finish, you can see that the bevels are a lot more convincing than they used to be, though they are still industrial applied. We have nicely arrayed and relatively tightly spaced stripes. We have blued screws, which are quite attractive. You can see media blast and snelling across the rotor. Solarization on the barrel covers, which looks great. There's perlage on the base plate. The movement is larger to fill a bigger case back, but you can also see how the bridges are also cut with shapes and proportions and positioning relative to each other, so that not only is it nicely detailed in the decorative sense, but the architecture itself is appealing. And again, 140 of these were made, and it is surprisingly water resistant for what it is for a platinum dress style watch. 100 meters, so throw it on a different strap, and yeah, you could swim with this. A rare piece, we don't see it often, and pretty much as high as you can get in a Grand Seiko tree of precedence and seniority, short of something from the micro artist studio. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.